we do when you do your thing.
The clacky.
The clacky.
The clacky.
We're gonna call it the clacky now.
I know there's an actual name for it. What is the actual name for this?
The
What is it
slate.
It's called a slate?
The slate.
I like clacky, but I appreciate the
Slate.
Clacky.
Action.
Let's get it.
Are we live? We live, Paul? Oh, we are live.
Wow, Paul.
Well, Paul, we'll cut that out. Don't worry, Paul.
Paul just got a concussion.
Yeah,
Give us
Paul,
a second, ladies and
we
gentlemen.
don't have health insurance yet, so give us a second.
Give us another year, Papa. We'll have you fully covered. Don't worry about it.
So it's July 31st. We're at Caffeine Underground, Lifeofjavi, Thebxbarista. What's up, Joe?
Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Stache. And we are live underground at Caffeine Underground.
You can't make this up, people. It's real.
No, man.
So Joe, it's July 31st. We're about a month away for another coffee fest in Los Angeles.
Oh, man. Fest LA. I mean, I hope you guys are ready. I mean, first and foremost, Coffee Fest LA isn't even starting at Coffee Fest. Coffee Fest LA is starting actually at the Barista League in LA. So if you guys haven't heard about that, the Barista League is an all-intensive competition where there's 3 to 4 different obstacles that you have to overcome, and all various different things, everything from latte art to espresso extraction to sensory, and there's always some kind of curveball that they're throwing in there. If I'm correct, last year it was a pork steak, right?
So luckily, last year I had a chance to compete in Philadelphia, the first time in the East Coast Barista League. It was a big deal. Unfortunately, you had a wedding, so you couldn't make it. Thanks. Shout out to Joe for having a wedding.
It was my brother's wedding.
It's validated.
I think that's valid. It's okay.
But so we, reached out to Ginger Beer Barista and Matt. Shout out to Matt.
Yeah.
He rocked with us, representing Espresso State of Mind. And we crushed it in certain parts of the tournament. But unfortunately, it's a well-rounded tournament, so you definitely get tested on everything about coffee and tasting and skill wise, and presentation was a big one for us.
Sure.
We definitely lacked presentation, and we didn't consider that to be a valued point into it, but definitely it is. And that's why Juan and Danny got second place.
Oh yeah, shout out to Juan and Danny representing New York. I mean, there was actually a couple of teams from out there from New York that all did very well, but Juan and Danny did place second. So congratulations to them.
Yeah. Big ups. It's so funny. Before they were teammates, they were little foes because they would go back and forth, and they weren't even sure that they were going to be a good team, battling back and forth. And now to see that they came and got second place, it just shows you that they're both professionals. They're both good at what they do, and they blended well.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens when you get two people who are like-minded, just as strong and as capable. You put them together, the combination is just, right? No pun intended on this one.
No pun intended.
Yeah, me and Hav. But, I mean, your favorite dynamic duo is coming back at you in LA, and we're going to be doing our next after party at, what's the brewery called?
Boomtown Brewery, Joe.
Boomtown Brewery.
4,000 square feet.
What?
Collaborating with our friends from LAT&T.
Yes.
It's just going to be a great event. We have so many fun things already lined up for everybody. I don't know if we can ever top the DL, Joe, but
400 people, third floor of a rooftop lounge, live entertainment, DJ. It's a pretty high bar that we set in New York. I do agree with you on that.
So that's always the challenge of kind of how you're going to do a little bit more from the next event. But we have never had this amount of square feet, so I'm excited to see what we can pull off. Come out Monday, August 26th. Check out for the Eventbrite. It's coming soon. Baristas, LA, East Coast, the world.
Oh, yeah. And then as well as that, right here in New York City, August 15th, we have our next local Throwdown, which we're really excited to team up with
partners.
Formerly known as Toby's Estates, in case everyone is wondering. But yes, we are extremely excited to be teaming up with Ali and everyone out in partners. We're going to be at the
Bushwick location. So funny enough, because we have a great relationship with a lot of people in the coffee industry, Rancherio and is gonna have an event on August 15th at the Bushwick location.
Shout out to Andrew and the fellas.
So what better way than making a night even better to just making it a double event night at the Bushwick Partners location. So nice collaboration with Rancherio. Also going to be our sponsors, our head espresso machine sponsors at our August 26th Throwdown in Boomtown Brewery. So great way to collaborate before. It's funny how things always work out for us in those situations, right?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, at first we thought maybe we had to move in, then we had to switch some stuff, and then we had to check a different location. And then once we really started looking at it, we just made a couple phone calls, and it's like, wait a minute, we were going to call you anyways when we got out to New York. So let's just team up and do it now. And that's actually worked out well.
So yeah, our goal, we definitely had a conversation about doing more local New York events. We know that the demand is there. We went a little crazy this year and we went nationwide, and Indianapolis went well, but we definitely want to take a step back and really give thanks to all the baristas in New York. We are nothing without you guys, so definitely creating more local throwdowns is definitely in our agenda for the next lifetime.
I mean, not even just in our agenda, but just to keep it a little bit more efficient. It got to a point where we knew every month at a specific day we had TNT. So, we're just trying to continue that legacy and bring every month a specific week where, you know what, you don't have to worry, you don't have to think, you don't have to know, you just know that there's already a Throwdown being hosted.
For sure. And because I know everybody, I know our guest today, I went to the Bluestone location, and they were like, why aren't you doing more local throwdowns? There hasn't been a local throwdown since the DL. So, Meech, I hear you. August 15th, we out. Partners, Espresso State of Mind.
Local throwdowns. And with that being said, have a great little segue to our guest today.
Yeah, technically our first guest.
Yeah,
from Behind the Stand.
Actually, this would be our first guest on Behind the Stache. So let's welcome them.
Yeah. So, MeechnCoffee, everybody.
Let's go.
I'm going to finish my grilled cheese, and she's got something to say.
Yeah, let's go. Step on down. Hey.
How's it going?
Doing well. So, welcome. We have on Behind the Stache, Meech, manager of Bluestone Lane location. Which location, by the way?
1375 Broadway.
1375
Garment District.
Yeah, big location, small location.
Medium size, 2 floors, but not too big.
How's it been so far? I mean, transitioning from the barista life to the manager. Well, not even just Starbucks, but transitioning from the barista life to the manager life. Not saying that you haven't done it before, because I know you have the experience, but
it's very different. I feel like when you're a barista, you can focus on the coffee and like your passion, especially latte art. That's where everyone kind of starts when they get interested.
Who doesn't, right? Everybody wants the pretty pictures.
But what I learned was that like to be able to have the luxury to like pour all day long or just like get really good coffee, like someone has to order the coffee, someone has to order the milk, and guess who does it now? So I give that to all of my baristas at my store, because that's where I started, and that's where I want the next breed of managers or next people who are like just like coffee enthusiasts. Like you need to give them that opportunity. So it's like I feel like I'm like the perfect person to do that for them.
Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, and honestly, it's a really good thing, because it's unfortunate. A lot of managers, with over time having all the responsibilities, having all the stress, you do forget what it's like to be a barista or just another coffee professional, and sometimes they disconnect and they don't actually connect with the barista. So it's great to have someone like yourself who still knows, still remembers, and regardless of how many years, will always have the barista's back.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's where, like I said, that's where everyone starts. Like manager, GM, traveling barista, whatever it is. Like those come with like other responsibilities, but you like never forget where you started. Of just like, I'm at a new job. I think I like coffee. what, latte art? Let's do it. And that's where that spark of coffee. Anyone like in our circle always has like their story of like how they get into coffee. One way or another, something about coffee, they never let it go. So.
And great way to segue into Meech. How did you get into coffee?
Okay. Funny enough, we're gonna get a little serious here, right?
All right.
So I moved from Miami to Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
I had a marketing job, so I was selling things and doing whatever, and that didn't work out well. So I went from like living in a 5-bedroom house to like being homeless and living out of my car,
Oh, wow.
and like being in a really, really rough area. And that shocked me because up until then, I always had my family. I always had like a place that I was familiar with. I had all my stuff together, and now I'm alone and I need to figure it out. So first thought was like, I'll just apply at Starbucks and I'll just get a job, get a paycheck, get my life together, and I'll move on. 3 years later, I'm at Starbucks and I am like winning like Starbucks' own like latte art champion, competing against other stores. Like,
Wait, hold on a second. So you're telling me the place that technically frowns upon latte art also promotes it?
they have their own little latte art thing. I mean, granted, it's nothing like we do now, but
Oh, and not even like saying that. So I bring this up because I know that Starbucks actually does have their own little latte art championships, but a lot of guests out there don't know this.
they
But you know
don't.
they and it's also interesting because not all Starbucks, if I'm correct, because I've never worked at Starbucks, but my many travels, if I'm correct, not all Starbucks promote it, as in promote the latte art. Some actually like frown upon it, and you can get in trouble. And then other places, they're all about it if you can do it. I also know now there is the reserves and the roasteries, which they take their service up a little notch more. So I know they're more focused on it. But how was your place when you got there?
I think it was really great. No one really was interested in latte art. I think it was just something that I did one day, and I was like, yeah, I made a heart. That's kind of cool. Like, let me just run with it. And I feel like I'm like a really creative and like really technical person. So like, I did it one time and then did it again, and then turns out there's like a Starbucks latte thing where like you go head to head against like everybody at your store, and then the winner will go against the winners of all the other stores.
Oh,
And
nice.
then